Well, Andis, do you think we're technically in a wilderness area right now?
We are actually technically in the wilderness area because we're above mean high tide. But I think that wilderness in the capital W sense is delineated by mean high tide, but I don't think that necessarily means that the wilderness or the spirit of wilderness stops at a strict line at mean high tide. I think that there's a lot in the forest that influences the intertidal zone. Obviously, we saw all kinds of intertidal life that was brought up into the forest from sea otters, that there's an interplay. The wilderness extends, it goes back and forth with the tides, and it extends far out away from the beaches. So I think that it's all something to be protected, and I don't think our wilderness here would be anything as nearly as special as it is without a healthy intertidal system. So I think that there's some wilderness that extends out beyond the beach line.
Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're in wilderness. I mean, we're definitely in wildness, and we're, as Adam said, we're above the mean high tide.
What makes this place wild?
I don't know, there's no people besides us really on the island, and there's not a sign of people, and there's, you don't hear a lot, and it's very, I don't know, it just has that untouched sense. It's untrammeled, to quote the Wilderness Act and use a really great word.
Folks, look, signs of human presence that we'd like to try and naturalize so that the next visitor can have the same wilderness experience as the person who came before them. And most often that's in the form of fire rings, and it's pretty easy to just disperse them. Yeah, and then major part is educating folks that, it only takes 2 seconds to build a fire ring, only takes a couple minutes to get rid of it, so might as well leave the experience for the next person and just build them as you need to and get rid of them afterwards.
So is this a normal site for Pleasant Island, or what?
This seems like this has been kind of the standard. I think that lots of folks come out to Pleasant Island. They definitely respect the area, and I think that they just unintentionally are leaving things like this. They're not thinking that it might be a detriment to someone else's experience. I think if they did know that, they probably wouldn't find as many of them. Because in general, they're pretty good. There's no real trees cut down. There's not a lot of trash. It's just a fire ring. But as much as the next person might appreciate the fire ring, I think that since this is a wilderness area, a lot of visitors would appreciate the wilderness aspect more than the 5 minutes it would take them to build a new fire ring. Is there really that necessary?
We can just nail this guy?
Pre-made for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, don't hit the vegetation. There could be a bird nest in there.
I sense the problem that Nat's almost as sarcastic as Dan and I.
That's the view I'm going to see later. Katie coming from behind with a big stick pointing at my hand. That's June.
We've been finding a lot of dandelions on these beaches. They seem to be starting on these little rock outcroppings and then spreading along the beach. And right now, there's none on that beach or this beach. Did you see any? It's just right here on the second. But more importantly than that is this edible morel mushroom that Adam walked right by.
I didn't come this way.
I mean,